Today I'm going to teach you how to make proper German bakery style pretzels. Into a medium-sized bowl we are putting 200 grams of all-purpose flour. For the Germans that's type 550, 2 grams of fresh yeast and 120 milliliters of cold milk. After that, stir it until it becomes a tacky, doughy structure. Then you can either start kneading it by hand, which is going to take quite a bit longer and is quite hard, or be happy because you have a kitchen machine at home. If you are this lucky, put your dough into the kitchen machine, turn it to the slowest speed for 2 minutes. After that, give it another minute at the highest speed. Now take the dough out of the machine. Roll it under your hand against the kitchen counter until a ball forms, which goes back into the bowl. Cover it with foil and place it in the fridge overnight or for 12 hours. The next morning we are taking the dough out of the fridge and are placing it directly back into our kitchen machine. Do not let it temper to room temperature. Add 22 grams of salt, 30 grams of fresh yeast, it does make a difference, and if you can find 20 grams of Laugencreme. That consists of some fats and baking malt. This stuff is what bakers use, but it is very hard to find. You can substitute with baking malt. Next, 60 grams of warm butter, as well as 800 grams of all-purpose flour. This is then followed by 350 grams of cold milk. You really do not want this dough to get warm. It should never reach temperatures over 22 degrees Celsius. To achieve that, you can either place your flour in the fridge overnight or add some crushed ice at this point. I didn't have any crushed ice, so I just took some ice cubes and smashed them with a hammer. You can also use a kitchen pot for this, just place it in a towel before so it doesn't make a huge mess all over your kitchen. This is the main dough now, and it gets kneaded for 8 minutes on the lowest setting of our machine. While kneading it, keep checking that the temperature doesn't rise too much. You can either just feel it with your hands or use a kitchen thermometer. Here again, it should not go over 22 degrees Celsius. After 8 minutes of slow kneading, we are cranking the machine up to the max for 1 minute. Now we are taking the dough and putting it in a bowl to rest covered for 10 minutes at room temperature. In this time it should grow by about 25%. A neat trick if you have a stain on your apron is to snap your fingers to change it. Now we are weighing 20 pieces of 80 grams each. You can of course go bigger or smaller than that. Roll the piece of dough under your hand until little balls form and place them aside. Now we take one of the balls and start elongating it from the center outwards. Don't just make a giant sausage. Leave the middle part thick while you make the arms as thin as you possibly dare. Now just give it a little swirl and voila, we have our first pretzel. I'm in love with the swirling, so I'm just going to do it one more time. And one last time. Now we're covering the pretzels up and let them rest for 25 minutes. After that, uncover them, place them in front of an open window for another 10 minutes. Repeat this process for your rolls as well. Here the surface should get a leathery texture from the wind passing over it. If you feel that it has worked, put them in the freezer for 45 minutes. This makes them a lot easier to handle in the next step, as they should be hard and don't easily deform. Now is the time when you can finally bring out your kitchen safety glasses, because we're going to work with some sodium hydroxide. We need a 4% solution, so into a glass or metal bowl and placing 500 milliliters of water and 20 grams of pure sodium hydroxide. You can get this stuff in specialized stores or in pharmacies. Just be careful, as it's quite aggressive. Sadly, if you want the proper result, you can't replace it with anything else like baking soda. Lower the pretzels in with a metal tool that is resistant to the base. What we are doing will speed up the Maillard reaction, which is the reaction between sugar and amino acids that gives browned food its awesome taste. Now pour grained salt over all your pretzels and slice into the thick part with a knife. I sadly forgot to record this part here and had to take them back out of the oven, but I'm sure you can manage. Now put them in a 230 degrees Celsius preheated oven for about 11 minutes. They will come out beautifully brown and smell amazing. This recipe is from two German bakers, which I find have amazing baking recipes, and I will link their book down in the description. I will now start to dig in, even though you should really wait for about 20 minutes so that they can cool off a bit. If you liked the video and want to see more like it, subscribe. See you next time.